Okay, let's talk about Bob Dylan's Tangled Up in Blue. This isn't just a song, right? It's like one of music's greatest, most beautiful puzzles. It feels so incredibly personal, but at the same time, you can never quite pin it down. So today, we're going to pull on those threads and see if we can figure out what really makes this masterpiece tick.
You know this line. It's so iconic. But it's way more than just a great lyric about a relationship falling apart. It's basically the key that unlocks the entire song. To really get this thing, we have to look at all its different, and I mean many different points of view.
And that leads us to the central mystery, doesn't it? We all know it, we can all sing along, we feel every ounce of the emotion, but the story itself, it's like trying to hold on to smoke. It doesn't follow a simple path from beginning to end. So what is really going on here?
All right, our first big clue is how the song completely, and I mean completely, refuses to follow a straight line. The timeline is, well, it's all over the place. It doesn't move neatly from the past to the present. It's like a memory, but it's jumbled. It's out of order.
So think about most story songs. They're pretty straightforward, kind of like what you see on the left here. Event A leads to B, which leads to C. Simple, clean. But Tangled Up in Blue? No way. It's over here on the right. It jumps between scenes based on how they feel, not when they happened. Honestly, it works just like our own minds do when we're remembering something really intense.
Now there's a fancy term for this. It's a nonlinear narrative. And this is the engine that drives the whole song. Dylan uses something we could call associative movement, where one memory just sparks another one, and it doesn't matter if they're years apart. A scene in a bar can suddenly make you remember something that happened on the side of a road a decade earlier.
Okay, so clue number 1, the timeline is completely shattered. Got it. Now let's get to clue number 2, because this is where it gets even more interesting. We're talking about the narrator himself, the I of the song. He's not stable. He keeps changing.
So, at one moment, you get this line. The narrator is describing her from a distance. It's almost like a camera in a movie, you know? A third-person shot. He's just an observer, watching the scene play out.
But then, bam! Just like that, the perspective snaps right back to him, and we're deep in the first person, inside his head, on the side of some road. This creates this amazing feeling of, well, controlled instability. You start to wonder, wait a second, who's talking now? Is it even the same guy? And when is he talking from?
And what this all points to is that we're not just listening to Bob Dylan's diary, we're listening to a persona, a crafted voice, a character. And what's so brilliant is the song makes you wonder if that persona is even one single person. Or maybe it's a collection of different versions of himself, all looking back over a lifetime.
And this, of course, brings us to the biggest debate that has surrounded this song for decades. Is this a raw, direct confession about the end of his marriage? Or is it a carefully constructed piece of fiction?
Now look, it is so tempting to read this as a straight-up confession. The album Blood on the Tracks came out when everyone knew Dylan was going through a rough time, and the lyrics are just packed with these raw, painful details that feel so real.
But then, you look at the clues we've just laid out. The timeline is a mess. The narrator keeps changing. It just doesn't add up to a simple diary entry set to music. This is a work of art, carefully put together. Even Dylan himself kind of pushed back on the idea that it was all about him, saying it was more about connecting images from different times in his life.
So, if it's not a straightforward story, and we can't even be sure who's telling it, then what on earth is this song about? Well, this is where all our clues, the wonky timeline, and the shifting narrator come together for the big reveal.
And here it is. This is the key. The song's subject isn't just the relationship. The subject is the very act of remembering. The form of the song is its function. It's not just a song about being tangled up. It's a song that actually performs it. It shows us how our minds really work, jumping around, replaying scenes, trying to build a story out of all these emotional pieces.
This gives us this really cool concept, emotional chronology. The song isn't organized by a clock or a calendar. It's not about what happened first, second, or third. Nope. It's organized by emotional impact. The heaviest moments, the most vivid memories, the most painful goodbyes, they get top billing, just like they do in our own heads.
All right, so we've kind of figured out the secret structure of the song. But why do we still care so much? Decades later, what's its real legacy? What did it actually do for music?
To put it simply, it completely tore up the rulebook. It showed a whole generation of songwriters that a popular song could be as complex as a novel. It proved that your narrator didn't have to be one stable person telling a clear story. And maybe most important of all, it made the messy, confusing, painful process of remembering a subject worthy of a great song.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Maybe we've all been listening to this song a little bit wrong. Maybe the goal isn't to solve it like a puzzle, to neatly untangle every single thread. Maybe the point is just to step inside of it and to feel that beautiful, confusing, and deeply human tangle for ourselves.